Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And we're live. And we're drinking bourbon and
Yep.
rye and other weird things from the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Arizona.
So tonight, Whiskey Uncensored, Bourbon is in the house. 4-Leaf Whiskey is in the house. OG Brick, Bobby is here. That's awesome. Let's see if we have any, no, there we go. So, or at least Bobby was here. OG Brick was here. I don't know if they're still
They'll be around.
Still in the chat. So what we're doing is we're going to have Steven from Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans on, but he's going to be a few minutes here. And so he sent us some samplers from the distillery he's now working at. I'm going to grab the name of it real quick just so I make sure I get it right.
I always thought he worked at a zoo.
He might. I mean, it could be a side gig. Adventurous Stills Craft Distillery, and it's out of, I think, Phoenix area. So definitely Arizona somewhere.
Yeah.
So we've got 5 samples from him. So when he hops on here, we're going to get these poured, figure out what order to drink them in.
Kind of a blind flight. I mean, he gave us the names, but since we've never seen the distillery before, we don't really know what they are. We do know, like, some of them are rye, some of them are, like, wine finished and so on. Yeah. Some basic details, but certainly have never tried any of them.
The thing is, too, is that they're all very high proof. So this should be an interesting one. They range from 110 proof to 133. So
the good thing is this live stream has a definite end because Steven is going live on his channel. So we can't go forever and just get hammered.
Yes, exactly. Bobby's here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, as soon as Steven hops on here, like I said, we're going to get these poured. He put these A, B, C, D, and E. So I don't know if that's an order that we're supposed to drink them in,
or
if we
just go ahead and pour in that order. And then if he says to go to a particular one, but I'm just going to start A on the right.
Yeah, let's pour them A, B, C, D, and then we can mix them around a little bit. All right. So what are you guys all sipping on? I see Bourbon. Is that hitting 1,000? If so, congratulations. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. Shredward is in the house. What's up, Shred? I wonder what kind of a Benny Walker special blend this is going to make. We're going to have to do somewhat responsible pours here because these are some high proof.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Like I said, they get up to 133 proof on this one.
Reasonable.
So. Yeah. So don't mind us while we get these poured.
There, Brian Vaughn.
What's up, Brian? About to have dinner. Be right back. Okay, no problem. So I was just. So we did that review of the Woodford Masters collection.
Yes. Yes, we did.
This recent one. John Matlick, what's up? What's up? OGD 114. Nothing wrong with that. I just had some of that a few nights ago, actually. Ooh. A little. What was I saying?
Cork.
ABC. Oh, so he was
Cody.
What? Cody Sanders, first time checking in on the stream, checking in from Fargo. Welcome, Cody. That's awesome. We're just getting poured right now, and we've got a guest coming up. So we'll stick around, and we've got a bunch of interesting whiskeys to taste here.
Fargo.
And they're high-proof ones, too. So the stream could get interesting. It depends. Do you think that's going to influence when we inevitably completely derail the stream and start talking about food and junk food and fast food and cause all kinds of...
well, Steven's going to have his own perspective, and maybe he's anti-junk food.
Could be. Well, like you said, Steven's going live right after we do, and that's a good way to keep us accountable. So, let me see here. Okay.
Some of these are really dark, by the way. So we know the ages, and they're not super old, any of them.
They're a warm weather climate distillery,
weather.
Those tend to not be aged quite as much.
Yep.
So what I was saying is Mike Meyer, who we see in the chat quite often, he's a Patreon supporter that we've talked to a few times. He was just telling me up in Grand Marais, he got a bottle of that Woodford Masters collection batch proof for $75.
That's a good price.
And MSRP is for 130 or 140, which is what I paid for it.
Now, I've seen a whole bunch of people on Facebook and Instagram and stuff posting that they're seeing it and buying it. So it seems like just a big lot of it came out. And so, it's available.
Yeah, it's starting to show up. So keep your eyes peeled. Hey, look at here. Dr. Robert. Cheers. Clyde Mays 5-year single barrel. Hey, Dr. Robert, check this out.
Yeah, be on the lookout for an unboxing soon.
Does that look familiar, Dr. Robert? We got
you're going to share his address.
Oh, I don't think it's. Oh, yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to see that on the live stream. But good call. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it was written on there. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to. I'll put your address on the live stream though. So yeah, we're gonna be doing. I'll be doing an unboxing video of that at some point. Found a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof today, 126.4 proofer. They've been hard to find recently. 65. Yeah, that's not bad. 65 is good. Those usually run about 70 around here.
No, but also the proof. Like they used to always be above 130, and they seem to be slipping a bit.
Yep. Peter White's in the house. What's up, Peter?
Peter.
Good to have you. Shredword, wow, that's low for them. Oh, that's Burban talking to Shredword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested because the only single barrel proofs I have from Jack Daniel's are the high, north of 130. I think
I have like a 129 too or something like that.
129 and some change.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they kept going down into the mid 120s.
Happy that made it. Yes, we're excited. I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah, I opened the box, but then I thought, oh, we'll do this on video as an unboxing. So
yeah,
we don't know what's in there yet.
Let's see. Cody says, first time having a Yellowstone store pick, absolute banana bomb. Do you
like
guys have any experience with them? Yeah, we actually just on our was it the last one we did? One of the Yellowstones was one of the last two because we did it here. That I believe Steve Joes had sent, and then we did that.
And then, it was like a 7-year 105 proof that I thought is really, really good.
Yeah. So we've got a review of that one out, Cody, if you're interested. If you search Bourbon Note and Yellowstone, maybe it'll come up. Clyde Mays 5-year is a good choice. So in my most recent bourbon hunting video, did you either watch that or see the pictures that
is it the one where you bought the Old Forester for Brian?
Yeah.
Okay,
and then
I saw that
bottles.
One. Yeah, so, that's right. Mini bottles.
So
Clyde, that's where those. Yeah, I knew someone had made reference to Clyde Mays recently.
Well, remember we've done the single barrel. Which is like 110 proof or something. Yeah, and it was really good. We liked it.
Yeah,
but
really
we were
good.
kind of wondering what the basic one would be like, and we've never gotten around to getting a bottle. So I scored 2 mini bottles of that, and one of them, the regular Alabama style whiskey, is like distilled. It's made in Florida,
which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and then they also have one that's made it appears to be MGP.
That escalated quickly.
So we have got, folks, someone in the background here who's showing up. Let's make sure the mic is not muted. All right.
It's muted. Oh, there you go.
Now it's not. We've got a guest. So, folks, tonight, whenever the heck you're watching the replay of this, please welcome Steven from Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. Oh, hang on. Can we hear you?
Nope, no audio yet. No audio yet, if you can hear us. All right.
That's okay, Stephen. We do this all the time with the audio.
Right. Yeah.
Our live streams are basically Our live streams are basically one that says mute mic.
Oh,
there we had it.
Speaker.
There we go. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Got you now.
Yeah, for some reason this soundboard I have, it has this what is that? It's micro USB or USB-C thing, and for some reason it's just so sensitive. It's either my computer or the soundboard, just whatever. If it's like the sender or the receiver, if I smack the table too hard, it undoes itself.
Everything just goes to pot.
It's
nice. Well, hey, thank you for the samples, and thanks for coming to be on here with us.
Totally. Thanks for joining us.
Now, I understand you're going live right after this at 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a smaller, kind of shorter live stream, and I'm gonna put these two against each other because these are my two current favorite $50-ish blended MGPs. So I'm gonna try to see which one's better.
Nice, that's awesome.
Figure out which one I like more.
So you sent us these samples. We've got A, B, C, D, and E. We poured them in that order, but I don't know if you meant us to drink them in that order or if we should switch them around and go in ascending proof.
Or we could start with the blend and then do them individually.
Yeah, please tell me I sent you a key, because if we're being 100% honest, okay, sweet. I was like, I forgot at this point. Let me see if I.
Man, I should have just gone with that.
It wouldn't be the first time I've done this, and I've sent samples to people, not as kind of like a brand ambassador type gig or whatever, although this is kind of basically just normal life for me. But I've definitely sent samples out to people, and it turns out that like I forgot it. So I sent you 5 samples, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I've got, do you want me to read them off?
Yeah.
Okay. So sample A, we've got Blue Ridge, 100% local Arizona corn, which I've been sitting here racking my brain trying to figure out where in God's name in Arizona you're possibly growing corn. Is this like a Flagstaff thing?
It is in here. I'm just gonna grab the bottles here, read it off, and I'll tell you where it's from.
Okay. So yeah, that's the Blue Ridge. That's 100% local Arizona corn, aged 27 months, 59.8% alcohol. And then B, we've got, it's Syrah, S-Y-R-A-H?
Syrah.
Syrah, okay. Syrah cask bourbon, 55.3% ABV, 33 months old, 4 months in the Syrah. And then we've got Peralta bourbon, cask strength. Does that say a CS? Yeah, cask strength, 4 years old, 66.5 ABV. So that's a banger.
That's 130 something.
This could get interesting really fast.
Yeah, this is a lot of whiskey.
And then we've got the Cherrywood smoked rye at 62% ABV. And then Lost Dutchman rye, cask strength, 57.1% ABV.
Okay, awesome. Yep, so I finally just got them all. Sorry, like I said, I literally just got home 5 minutes ago. So things are a little bit behind, so I'm a little unorganized, if you will. But so Blue Ridge, 100% blue corn, and it's from the Ute Mountain Indian tribe. I've never been there. I know where master distiller / owner has, but I've never been here. So I couldn't tell you where per se it is or how large it is. It's just, that's where we get our blue corn.
Okay,
it's more purple than blue. That's more purple corn.
So do we want to do these in this particular order, or should we just go in ascending proof?
Your call. How do you typically like to do that? I guess would be a better way to say it. I would definitely do the blue corn first because it's the less abrasive or intense. I don't want to say abrasive. So you guys, first of all, I should preface this with, do you guys typically enjoy a lot of Texas bourbons?
No, we hate Texas bourbon.
So this might be a very interesting live stream for you because Texas and Arizona, we share a lot of similarities with obviously the heat. So the age impact's a little intense. That being said, you might actually really like the blue corn one because I found some of my favorite Texas whiskey outside of malts, which is very different. But outside of the bourbons, I typically really like, more than even the bourbons, the corn whiskeys, which I don't like Kentucky corn whiskey. But for some reason, just the way things age in the oak, just the corn works for me.
Okay. I'm actually excited to try the corn one as well because
me too.
My really only experience with actual corn whiskey has been mellow corn, and I love it.
Yeah, mellow corn is awesome, but yeah.
And we've had, the one Texas whiskey that I said I kind of liked was like a 6-month-old 100% corn mash bill from Yellow Rose.
Yellow Rose? I haven't even heard of them before.
Yeah, and that one's not bad, but I mean, it's a 6-month bourbon for like $60, so it's kind of like, all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But let's get into that. So somebody said OG missed the intro. So why don't you tell us real quick the name of the distillery? Because I did say it at the beginning, but I'd have to look at it again.
We are Adventurous Stills. I'm going full-time there mid next month, so July. So right now I'm kind of our brand ambassador or whatever, but I'm going full-time. I don't know what my job title is going to be because we're such a small craft distillery. Right now we have the owner and then one other full-time employee. Everyone else is part-time, and then I'll be the second one who's full-time. But we are a local craft distillery. we focus primarily on doing grain to glass whiskey. So most of our grains are actually from the Arizona area. Most of our stuff is around 2 to 3 years old. We're a little different with all of our mash bills. So our rye is going to have caramelized rye as well as wheat in it. So it's the two grains are rye and wheat. And then part of the rye is a caramelized rye from Germany. And then the bourbons are going to have some chocolate malt in it. Outside of, so the cherry bomb, that's a cherry wood smoked. I don't remember what the mash bill is because that was one of our limited editions. So it's a different mash bill from our normal rye. But we try to do things a little out there. Our most like basic one's the blue corn, which is our newest one and my personal favorite, just because it's the most traditional whiskey style. Because again, we kind of color outside the lines a little bit.
Do you know where you guys are getting the barrels from?
Barrels are from California. So we do primarily we do only number 3 char. And typically we're right now doing a blend of, we have a few, 53-gallon casks. I think that's the right one. But the 50 is the traditional size. We have probably 4 or 5 of those casks. We have a few 30-gallon casks, and primarily we're still working on 15s. As we're starting to produce more, we're trying to move up to bigger casks. So we get less of that intense oak. But when we started, because most of our stuff is 2 to 3 years old. So when you start, you kind of got to build up there, especially being on such a small stage like we are.
Sure. And I suppose that with the heat, and we'll get into the taste in this pretty quick here, because I'm nosing this, and this doesn't remind me anything of a Texas whiskey. I'm not getting that.
I'm not getting the Texas type style.
The funk. I'm actually really liking the nose. Rich. I would you could convince me this was a bourbon. I'm getting some chocolatey notes, actually.
And almost a little bit of
chocolate and brown sugar.
Well,
the caramel
I was
going
to say the cinnamon brown sugar Pop-Tart.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, let's go in for the taste here.
One thing I will say about this is technically, from my understanding of what legally you can consider bourbon, this fits the bill. We just are calling it a corn whiskey.
Okay.
Because it's 100%
That's really good, actually.
Corn, 27 months, right? Oh, man. This is making me look like a noob.
27 months.
Yeah, 27 months in brand new charred American oak barrel. It's a 30-gallon cask for this one.
I'm just doing the proof. So 119.6 proof.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by this.
It's got a nice level of sweetness.
This doesn't have any of that hot weather Texas funk at all.
Yeah, so maybe it's not the heat that's causing that, because we've had a whiskey from Florida or Georgia, I think, that was amazing as well. So I think the heat by itself is not the problem with Texas whiskey.
I think it's that and a blend of the 15-gallon cask, because you can definitely tell heat, 15-gallon cask, the oak just really gets in there really intense.
It does have a pretty intense wood tannin, but the sweetness from the corn really holds it back and keeps it from going out of control.
That's really well
this
balanced.
Is really good.
Yeah, I'm impressed by that. So we're off to a good start here. So the two guys that hate Texas whiskey,
by the way, I will preface anything. Don't feel like you have to hold back. I'll be honest. I've had 0 hands. Outside of convincing this to be a limited release, I haven't made any of the whiskey yet. I haven't really distilled anything myself. So, don't hold back. I'm not going to take it personal. And honestly, your guys' opinions, might influence us later on down the road. I mean, it'll take 2 to 3 years to actually be a thing, but we'll get there.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so far the corn whiskey's great.
Yeah.
Really, 27 months. I would not, if you gave that to me blind, I would not guess that's a younger age bourbon. I mean, that seems like a very kind of down the road average age.
The small cask helped.
Yeah.
Smaller cask.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I've noticed with the corn whiskey in Texas is because of that, like you said, those woods, those tannicky sides of it, but then the extra sweetness from it being all entirely corn, they really balance each other out.
Yeah, but it's a different strain of corn, and maybe even different type of yeast strain. So it's totally different, and It's just not what they're producing in Texas. So enough about Texas. Let's talk about Arizona.
So let's do, you know what, we can just do these in order because I'd like to do the bourbons first and then the rye. And I think they're all high enough proof. I mean, there is that 133 that's going to kind of give the other ones a run for their money. But let's get to the Syrah cask bourbon.
Yeah, C's going to be a bit intense.
Okay.
That's okay.
We like intense whiskey.
C's our most expensive one. So one thing I will say is where a lot of craft distilleries tend to overcharge, I think we're charging on par, if not slightly under what we could really reasonably market-wise get. So the one you just had, we were doing that for $80, I believe, which it's a limited edition. We have a proof down version, which has been my daily drinker for $60. And it's proof down to 95, so it's not really a super low proof. And then a lot of the other ones, like the one you're about to drink, I got for 65 a year and a half ago. I've been saving this one to send out to people.
What's the distribution like? Is it just available locally there in that area?
Yeah, in Arizona.
Yeah, distillery only.
That's why I was all of our limited stuff goes through just the distillery. We have some distribution of like the local Total Wines and whatnot here. And we ship within Arizona currently. That's why I was super late. Shipping debacle that took me an hour to figure out, and I didn't even figure it out. I just had to drop the box of whiskey back at the distillery, and I was like, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I got a live stream to go to.
That's right. That's right.
On the nose, this is a chocolate bomb.
Yeah, chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting tons of chocolate. Yeah, and then there's almost the slightest hint of a red fruit.
Not getting a red wine yet. It's just a chocolate so far, but I have very high expectations at this point because it smells really good.
Well, let's get into it.
What
Cheers.
Did you say about
33 months old.
No, okay.
4 months in the Syrah cask.
And proof?
110. 110.6. Yeah, and so our bourbons are going to have chocolate malt in the mash bill. So a lot of our weird, I don't want to say weird, but kind of different styles, a lot of it comes from the mash bill and the distilling process.
That sounds bad, but so I'm honestly getting ashtray. Like, and I know that sounds really bad, but it's it's
like a burnt ash sort of. I got to have another sip of this because that's really interesting.
It has some really interesting qualities.
I get what you mean. It's very the chocolate and like that barrel char just like take over a little bit. There's a slight red fruit.
It's dry on the finish.
It is very dry on the finish, which we tend to like.
Yes.
Yeah, that's chocolate. I'm getting what you're saying, kind of ashy, sort of. It's like like you said, Stephen, it's like a char. But that is
so okay.
Like mocha chocolate. So OG Brick, who is in the chat right now, he tends to like. He's asked about chocolate profile bourbons. Like that is a mocha, like flavor chocolate.
Yeah, it has this like.
They used to have these e-cigs that were different flavors. That and one of them was a mocha flavored one. It tastes exactly like that.
Imitation Tootsie Rolls. I don't think I've ever had one.
No, there's an e-cig.
Oh,
like an electron, like a vape.
I thought the little the generic Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, I can see this as like a espresso Tootsie Roll vape.
Yeah, that's okay. So far,
weird, but
we've got
very interesting.
Yeah,
and I think the description doesn't sound as good as it actually is. Really good.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Yeah, this is.
But it is very unique. I would say it's not anywhere close to a traditional.
Nothing
bourbon.
Traditional. That's why I said the Blue Ridge is probably the closest like traditional whiskey we have. Okay. At least the ones I sent you, because I kind of go towards our oddities, if you will. And sometimes even as like the brand ambassador, I love the brand. Obviously, I'm going to be working there full time. Sometimes I have a hard time explaining what we do because I'm like, we do weird shit with whiskey that's kind of outside of the box. Yeah. Like, well, what I was going to say is a lot of chocolate bourbons, and it's kind of polarizing.
Right. A lot of times we'll be doing a review, and if there's something that's really, really unique and kind of just outside of the lane of bourbon, but still within the do we have Sugar Kitty in the house? Hold on a second.
It's about time.
We've got a. But we'll have those ones that are bourbon, but they just kind of ride in a completely different, unique lane on their own, and we always describe those as kind of like whiskey nerd sort of bourbons, like the type of bourbon that like a real whiskey geek is going to appreciate.
Yeah. Or a YouTube channel is going to like talk about, as opposed to your generic right down the middle, you know, nothing wrong with it, but Buffalo Trace tastes like Buffalo Trace, you know? And
right.
It's like reviewing another MGP whiskey that has nothing special about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I still have the chocolate mocha going.
And almost
this is really, really interesting.
And maybe cigar ash.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like,
oh, hey, JT is in the house. What's up, JT?
I honestly like both of those. The first two, I really would like to own a bottle because they're so unique.
Yeah.
And interesting.
These are the ones you bring to the bottle share.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and pass those around with other bourbon nerds. All right, let's get into this next one. This is, what is it, Peralta?
Oh, yeah, so that's
Peralta bourbon 4-year.
So the same mash bill that this one is. Let's see if it can autofocus. Do the thing. Nope, camera's being a POS. But so this bottle is our Syrah finish one. This was a limited edition special release that we did so we have obviously our mainstay bottles, and then every quarter we do, in theory, hopefully 2 special releases and 1 club release. So we have like this limited club where we do adventurous stuff. Like this was one of our limited clubs, the Cherry Bomb that we're about to try. This was ours to commemorate us making the Blue Ridge, the corn whiskey, like one of the mainstays, so the lower proof version. So we have 2 different kind of limited. So basically every quarter we're making a new whiskey. Some have been great. Some have been not so great. Like we did an oat whiskey, and at first I really liked it. Now I can't stand the whiskey.
Huh. I'd be really interested in that because I like oats. But
so far,
I mean, I got 2 different. I have a 15-gallon cask and a 30-gallon cask bottle here. So,
we talked about the hot weather aging, and that things tend to age a little bit quicker in hot weather. So that, I mean, when you don't end up with that Texas funk, which so far the first 2 haven't had, and like you said, the 13th colony from Georgia didn't have that at all. We love that stuff. And it allows you guys to get stuff out at a quicker pace.
Yeah,
you know, you can put out like this one was 27 months old, and I would have never guessed that because it didn't come across easy at all.
And another thing we've noticed after doing a few reviews, I think we're over like 250 now. Different grains seem to handle heat differently. Like I think wheat is a more fragile. Seems like wheat whiskeys can be damaged a little bit easier. I think rye is much harder.
Wheat is also sensitive in the distillation process. So like making the wort and the mash process, from memory, it's been a while, but wheat, you kind of have to like softball in.
Mike.
Where other grains, you can kind of just slap them on the ass and say good game.
Sure. Well, this smells excellent. The color on this, I mean, you get the 133 proof. If you see me on my phone, it's because I'm trying to avoid doing math, and so I'm converting me to proof. So I'm not texting just for anybody.
I'm too lazy to do that. That's why I didn't even send them to you like that.
That's all right. I'm happy to work the calculator really here. All right.
So this is our oldest release yet. So we do usually 2 to 3 years old. This was a limited cask run of our single barrel project. We're never going to age it up to 4 years ever again, just because this came out super intense, very polarizing, very chocolatey, very cask. Yeah. And then also
I would do this again.
Yeah.
Angel Share was so intense. We had to mark this up way past, because typically we'll run our cast strength bourbons at around 65, 70. This one we had to mark up to 90, and we were still like barely breaking even.
Yep. Yeah.
It is what
I think that's fantastic.
It is. It is really good. What kind of filtering do you do?
We chill filter. That's
okay. So did you say this one is the same as B?
I think this one's not chill filtered.
Okay. So is this one, the bourbons are the same mash bill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. These are both
the chocolate.
Yeah, 2% chocolate malt in the mash
chocolate
bill.
Malt. Yeah, is not coming through on this cast strength one.
It's not as noticeable in that one.
Quite as much, but it's a nice balance of, there's like these great sweetness. There's something, it's still, the mocha is still there.
But it's a little bit more muted.
But yeah, I mean,
it's a little bit more the kind of the vanilla caramel like the aggressive because of the proof.
It's
really good.
I really don't want to come across as frauds here because we have a guest who's at a distillery and sent a sample. Genuinely liking all of these. We had that when we did a review of 13th Colony. They sent us stuff, and we really liked genuinely everything they sent. And we're like, well, we're just going to look like frauds because we're saying that since we got free whiskey.
It's awesome. Nothing is better as like whatever the hell we'll call what we do here on YouTube. Nothing is better than when a company sends you whiskey and you go out of your way to either buy some more, or you're like, dude, this is going to show up on a list in the future because I like it so much. Because it's, I mean, sometimes I feel a little guilty when someone sends me whiskey and I talk bad about it. Like, for example, Uncle Nearest Rye, that's straight garbage. They sent it to me. I did a review. I was honest. It's booty. But like when someone sends you something you think is fantastic, you're like, dude, this was great. Like here, for example, I was thinking about maybe bringing this up. This is solid MGP. And they sent it to me for free.
What's that one?
Backbone Bourbon.
Oh, wow.
It's a 4-year-old MGP. I like it. I think it's solid. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's MGP. It's 4-year-old MGP. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's good.
Hey, as a side note, do you reach out to places and say, hey, I do a review channel, or do they reach out to you? I mean, how does that work?
It's kind of like a 50-50 type thing. I've reached out before, and sometimes I've been hit up. Maybe not 50-50. It's more like a 60-40, I would say. 60, I'm reaching out to people. Because, I mean, you got to keep content fresh, but I'm not balling. Yeah, usually. Okay, like, for example, if you guys like malt, or if you're interested in trying American single malt, I know the Westward brand rep.
Pretty I actually tried one of those for the first time, maybe 2 months ago or something. And it was the peated American single malt.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was really peated one. Is it Westland?
Was it West? Yeah, Westland. It's got like the kind of diamond shaped logo and blue.
Yeah, so kind of the distillery I would compare to them, Westward. They're like a geometry shaped bottle. They're both like two of my favorite, or some of my favorites, because they're more of a traditional kind of malty thing, and I really like Texas American single malts because they're just, it's weird. It's funky. I like funky shit.
We did a blind with Sean a couple weeks ago.
Did he send Balcones to you?
He did.
Which one was the Balcones?
I got him hooked on
that. That was Balcones because I knew there was a Texas single malt, and that one was one was all right.
Mm-hmm. And the Still Austin was decent,
but it was so off profile. We thought it was a rum at first.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Their stuff's weird. Balcones. I have a what is it called? One of their True Blue. So it's 100% blue corn. That's like 4 years old, and it is freaking intense. Like it's so much more. This is like more of a traditional whiskey. Like this is sweet, has cask. This is nice. Where that one's just like it's stone fruit, it's wood char, it's like black motor oil. I don't understand how they do that one
around here, but I've just never been able to bring myself to pull the trigger on it yet. So and now at this point I don't like anything from them. So
fair enough.
Kind of I'm just kind of like
all right, what's letter D?
Letter D. Okay, hold on. So this is the Cherrywood Smoked Rye, 62.
Which you guys are drinking a different bottle than I am, or a different batch, because this batch, I killed the other bottle because when you guys had the bottle was like here when I sent it, and I got into it the other night. So
nice.
It smells really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was another one of our
do you know the mash bill on this?
I really like that. No, I do not. Not off the top of my head. Since it was a limited club release and I had no part in distilling it.
Rye or bourbon?
Rye.
Okay.
Rye.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, so
124 proof.
I think there's more wheat in the rye mash bill than our typical one.
So is it
our typical one use about 5% rye? Nope. So we use rye and wheat in ours. So we use two different kinds of rye and wheat.
Sorry. Yep. I was still on bourbon in the brain here. All right, let's get into this one.
It's really good.
Definitely smell the rye on it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This one is coming across as a little more traditional rye notes.
And then the cherry is noticeable, almost artificial.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good, but it
almost seems lightly flavored.
Yeah, exactly. Like syrupy kind of flavored a tad.
So the way we smoke our whiskeys is we smoke staves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the aftertaste, right, after it's done, is very almost like cough syrupy, like the cherry cough syrup, kind of just that flavor.
I'm getting something on here, and I got to take another sip that I can't put my finger on. Man, what is that? This is really good too.
It is, yeah. So far, they're 4 for 4. I'm really impressed.
This is another whiskey nerd whiskey that I would like to bust out at a bottle share or something like that.
The proof on this one kind of hides. Like it's. I'm not getting hit with the ethanol hit. It's just nice spice that kind of builds.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so Sugar Kitty weighed in.
Yeah, Sugar Kitty had a really good point. You should probably put that one up on the screen.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Westward and Westland are too easy to confuse because they're both West Coast malts. Westland is the diamond shape, and it's owned by Remy. Westward is the W with the arrow through it. Okay, so I had Westland then.
Yeah. Right. Westward, if you want to get into some American single malts, let me know. I have the POC, and they've sent me like 6 bottles at this point, and there's some of my favorite bottles.
Yeah, sure.
They're fantastic.
Speaking of which, we're going to be doing a bourbon hunting video hopefully soon at our favorite liquor store. And
favorite so far. I mean, hopefully we find better ones in the future, but this one's pretty good.
I don't know if we'll find a better one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But anyway, so she's got the Stranahan cask strength single barrel for $29.99 right now.
What?
I actually really like Stranahan's.
Do me a favor.
You want one?
I'll Venmo you, Chief. I'll hand deliver.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll pick you one up.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna try to go up there
with steel.
Yeah, it's a cask strength Stranahan single barrel store.
Should be like $50 to $60 at a minimum, and I still think even at that price point for a cask strength American single malt, like I'm a big American single malt fan. That's one of the ones that we make that's very subtle to me because we just started a single malt. That it's been like a daily drinker type thing, but it's not really a celebratory, exciting one. That's why I didn't send anything to you, because I don't think that's some of the best stuff we've done. But some of my like specials up there and all, they're all cask strength American single malts, and they're all around like $100 or so at a minimum. And it's a steal to find a Stranahan's, or to Stranahan's. I just think they're undercharging, but I think they're undercharging in a good way, because that's one of the redeeming qualities of it, if you will.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. So she had her own store pick, and she was charging $40 for her own cask strength single barrel store pick, which was already just the same price as the regular Stranahan. So that was already an awesome deal.
It's a buy.
And then she bought some single malts off of a place that was closing or something. You know, sometimes a restaurant, like when COVID hit and restaurants shut down, they sent their single barrels to stores to, and it wasn't a COVID thing, but I can't remember, but it's a store pick from a different store. But yeah, $29.99. So I think we're going to go up there this weekend. I'll snag you a bottle of that for sure.
Oh yeah. One thing.
All right, let's get into this.
Regarding this, I did not realize how kind of artificial it is, because so what we do is we smoke the staves and then we put them in the barrel.
One, right?
Kind of like the who does
cherry
that?
bomb.
Yeah. They're like basically like smoked cubes of wood that we put into the whiskey, and you can get that like insane kind of like, there's a heavy wood note and a heavy like cherry, but it is kind of very medicinal.
Yep.
But I like medicinal cherry. Like I'm a sucker for those ultra aged bourbons, so this one works for me. This is one of my favorite, I would say top 3 limited editions. This one, the Cherry Bomb, and we had 100% blue corn that we finished in peach brandy barrels. Holy shit. I mean, it was very peachy, but man, that was phenomenal. That was the one that kind of got me started 3 years ago down this road of really buying all their stuff, then brand ambassador, and now I'm working there.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. We sampled a broken barrel that was finished with peach brandy staves.
Very, really very good. Kind of unique. You don't want to drink it every day. It's a little bit on the kind of weird side.
Yeah.
You get tired of it, but absolutely love it.
So is this Lost Dutchman rye? So this is 114 and some change, 114.2. Is this going to be the same mash bill, just not smoked with the cherry wood?
So I believe this is a different mash bill. Off the top of my head, I can't remember our specific mash bill. So I know it's 5% wheat and then 95% rye, but I think it's like 10% of that is caramelized rye.
Okay.
Again, I can't remember
Ryan
off the top
Frank
of my head.
In-house.
But this is a single barrel pick that one of our local liquor stores came up with. So we actually, on behalf of the distillery, have not released a cask strength version of our rye. Is this the best rye cask we've ever had? No, I tried one yesterday that was fan-freaking-tastic that we unfortunately had to proof down to 95 proof in order to sell as our normal bottling, because we're kind of running a little low on rye.
This one?
What?
Bacon. A bacon note.
Really?
Like a salty kind of bacon kind of note?
I'm getting an interesting wood note.
That's what she said.
Man, I hate that you said bacon because there's mid-palate. It's salty bacon.
Yes.
I mean, I was looking for it. So against totally this is the way the whiskey world runs, where you say something, we all think about it as we drink it, and then, oh, it clicks. That's how it works. But there is a very savory mid-palate on this.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, at the risk of, again, sounding like shills because
shills for this
just because we want to be nice to our friend Steven here. I got to tell you, I'm really impressed.
I mean, this is absolutely a 5 for 5.
Yeah. So we've been impressed with a couple other craft distilleries.
Yes.
But then we've been very much not impressed with a couple other ones.
Right.
And one entire state that we just don't like anything they produce. So now it begs the question, what is Texas doing to their whiskey?
It's not the heat, because Georgia and Arizona,
are producing great whiskey.
Doing really great things.
It's probably the cask. It's the cask and likely the corn, because I've noticed different versions of corn
literally can be, the wood.
Change things. So we have a year-old
and the water.
A year-old cask of red corn, and I anticipated it to taste like a young version of this. Nah, that shit is spicy. It's drinking as if it was like a traditional bourbon. I'm like, there's rye in this. This is not 100% red corn, but it's a super spicy cask at only a year old. We're going to age it probably another year and a half.
I got to go back and I want to get a little, go back to letter B, the Syrah cask. Maple. Total maple.
No. Oh, yeah, there's something else. I mean, I will admit, I'm definitely getting Play-Doh.
Okay. I'd say maybe a little bit.
Look, I've heard nothing but praise and then really bad tasting notes. Not by wrong tasting notes, but tasting notes that are less than savory, if you will. Like Play-Doh.
What,
bacon.
Tonight or?
Yeah. I'm just talking shit.
An ashtray.
Yeah, ashtray. I don't mind the bacon note. I actually agree with the baking note. And I see where you're going with the ashtray note.
I honestly, it's a little bit like drinking out of an ashtray, but it's not horrible. It's just that's the flavor that you would assume from ash, like a cigar ash.
Right. And it's interesting, when you're really pulling, sometimes you just get this one weird note that actually is really good.
Yeah.
Like the Play-Doh thing, we get that on Old Tub, and we both love Old Tub.
Sure.
So that's not a bad thing. Ashtray, we've had ones that you said one in a way smelled or tasted like dirt.
Oh yeah, definitely dirt.
Or like when they say like it smells and tastes like a dusty barn floor. That sounds like you're tremendously insulting the whiskey. And so, those are some of my favorite ones. Is the ones that smell and taste like a dusty old barn. Or if you're saying something tastes like leather, you would think that's an insult, and it absolutely isn't. That's what's kind of weird about whiskey tasting.
So Mark is talking about Still Austin just released a red corn bottle and bond. I'd love to try it.
Yeah, I would love to try
that. I found that I tend to like. Yeah, that sounds good.
I need to reach out
Still
to
Austin?
Yeah.
So you like that one out of the one that Sean sent?
They do.
So far, that's the best brand I've seen from Texas.
I don't remember what still type they use, but they use a different kind of still. So they don't pot still. So we pot still everything outside of our vodka it's a pot still that runs through a ginormous column. Like the column is literally from the floor all the way to industrial warehouse ceiling. Just column after column after column, and that's what we run our vodka.
And it's all copper?
Yeah, no, not the column, but the actual
stainless
bases. Yep, it's stainless. The whole column stainless, but the pot is copper. But I know Still Austin, they do something different. Because
I think it makes a difference. Because
have you had a lot of iron root stuff before?
We have. Was there iron root in that flight that
I thought we had one, but I can't remember.
I don't know if we have. I've had some Saints Alley, but that's blended with MGP. Yeah. On a side note, going back to this corn whiskey, after drinking through all these, this holds up. That totally still holds up. After drinking all this other stuff that's, a couple of them considerably higher proof than going into Rise, and then going back to that, I mean, that still holds up. The second one changed quite a bit, but it still has that mocha and stuff, but it had a little bit of a mapley note to it.
Yep.
I see where you're going with maple and Plato. Like, I see both of them. I'm listening to the notes you guys are saying, and I'm like, oh, am I missing those? Because I might be too close to everything to think, like, kind of out of those box. But I kind of see the Plato, like, it has this, like, I don't want to say plastic, kind of like artificial, almost dusty note to it.
Right.
On the nose, which I see where you're kind of going with, like Plato. I'm thinking dusty. You're thinking Plato. Same, but different, but still same. And I totally see the maple.
Yeah, going back to, and I didn't get the maple at first, but going back to it, that maple is really, that's what's also interesting is when you drink a couple different things and you go back to the one you just had and see how the other ones affect it.
This is also why I like drinking with people, because sometimes when I do reviews just by myself, like it's just all on me. So I get kind of stuck with the same old notes and shit. But then when you work with other people and all, and you're like, oh, what are you getting off of that? And someone says like, oh, bacon. I'm like, oh my God, dude, there's bacon in this. And it's fantastic. It's
Big League
you
Chew.
can spiral from there. And it's just, I don't know. It's enjoyable.
Yep. Totally.
I mean, we've had some wheat whiskeys that, I think you said you heard it first on like Fred Minnick had mentioned on like a high, either it was a wheat whiskey or like a really high wheat wheater.
Yep.
Like a pink bubblegum note.
Yep.
And I would have never picked that out. And now on tons of wheaters, we picked that one out. Like the bubble tape with the white dust on it, that, you know what I'm talking about? Like it
came in a round can.
I always get a sour note on wheat whiskeys. Like it's kind of like sour, like, I don't want to say sour cream, but like it's soury and not good. I'm not a huge fan of wheat whiskeys though. Wheat usually kills.
We love them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
You mean wheat whiskeys or wheated bourbons?
Same. The only wheat whiskey I found that I really like is the Woodford Reserve Wheat. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah, we like that one.
That one's pretty good. Yep.
I mean, what other wheat whiskeys are out there that y'all suggest?
Larceny Barrel Proof is not bad, but it's probably not.
Well, that's a wheater. You mean like straight wheat whiskeys?
I have one of those, and I'm never buying one ever again.
Yeah. So for wheat whiskeys, by far the best, most interesting is Old Elk.
Yeah.
The Bernheim is really good. The Woodford wheat whiskey is very nice, but Old Elk.
It's Woodford.
Seems to be the one.
I feel like Woodford's is adequately nice. Like there's nothing special to write home about any of the Woodford products. but they'll do in a pinch.
Yeah, they're just nice. They just are what they are.
Yeah.
So, Steven, I don't know if you're used to watching our flight videos, but do you know what's coming next year?
No.
Well, we call this the Benny Walker special. So every time we review, Baker Drinks is in the house, Hang and AZ is in the house. Anytime we do a flight or we do more than one whiskey,
are we going to mix these all together? That's where I think we're going.
We are doing the blend. Yes, so we're going to blend all 5. Well, that's why I was going back and drinking them all down, because I wanted to play around with each one of them a little bit more.
That's what she said.
And before blending them, we're going to have to do it because this is how we end all of our flights.
And even though each of these pours was small, by the time you get to 5 of them, it's still a pretty big pour.
Look, I still have a live stream after this. I'm going to be shithouse. My wife's going to come home and be like, why are you this drunk? And I'm be like,
and another thing.
Blame the bourbon note.
If you've not watched our streams before, this is now like 562 proof.
Yep, something like that. We just total up all the proofs and say
that these are all cash trades.
Yeah. So
we're probably over 700 proof here.
No, probably 600 at this point. Okay. And you have to add up the years. So we're definitely at about a 14-year bourbon or whiskey.
And 14. Let's just go 14 years, 600 proof.
14 years, 600 proof.
Yeah, 3 years.
And the second thing is, who in the history of the world has ever had this blend? The mix is 50, 50, 50, 50.
This
50.
is weird.
Yep. Probably not even the good people at Adventurous Spirits have never had this blend before.
No.
So
they're not that adventurous.
If you ever want to make a bourbon note blend, we'll see how this turns out. And if it's terrible,
so I'll send you guys some
more
of the
blends
stuff.
Are great.
Some
of the blends are not so.
We have an annual release where it's pretty much just kind of like the OGs and the club members buy. We call it our Infinity Cask. So we basically take the ass ends of a bunch of our shit and we put it together in one cask.
That's what she said.
We fill up an extra cask with it and we release it. I'll be honest, this year's is so heinous that I'm working currently on a project to blend out the heinous in it so we can actually bottle it. But the previous year, it had a little bit of there's some quinoa in it. So it's a bourbon with like green chili.
It had real quinoa in it?
Well, quinoa, distilled quinoa.
The grain.
Because we've made a quinoa whiskey before. And we added what was last of that.
I got to tell you, the 50, 50, 50, 50, 50 blend of this on the nose smells
like
fantastic.
Your ratios are way too clean. There's not a prayer your ratios are 50, 50, 50, 50. Also, you can't have 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. It'd be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20.
This is a 250%, 14-year, 700 proof whiskey.
Yeah, that's how the math works.
This is how we do math here, Stephen.
Everybody knows it.
All right, let's taste it.
It smells pretty good. It smells well aged, to be honest. There's no youthfulness on it.
My blend went very much so into the barrel char, the espresso
vanilla and ground coffee grounds coffee grounds.
All right, I got to try this again.
Coffee grounds, like used coffee grounds, and I know that sounds bad. It's like you have a
that's wonderful. That's a great
like when you use one of those pump coffee machines or the little containers and
what's it called? French press.
French press.
No, like the really old fashioned. No, it's like
French presses are garbage.
Yeah,
like an AeroPress?
Yeah, no, very old. In big convention centers, they fill up this 2-gallon thing with coffee. But if you're the last person to pump it,
you got to pump it to get air in there to get the
but you always get
I thought he meant French press
coffee grounds in your cup. This tastes like coffee grounds, and I know that sounds like it's negative.
I wouldn't consider that a negative at all.
Really good.
Yeah, I'm liking this actually.
I mean, the negative side of getting coffee grounds in your cup. The negative side of getting coffee grounds in your cup is like the grainy texture, and this is that without the grainy texture.
Well, you can almost imagine it though. Still, it's almost like coffee and maple donut and bacon.
I'm following you on
really
this.
Good.
This is like
a solid breakfast blend.
Yeah. You're stuck in an airport. Like, you're in an airport. You have shitty coffee.
Breakfast blend.
And you're eating bacon. You already ate the eggs before this scenario, but you're eating bacon and you have
there's also a Pop-Tart.
It works. Yeah, and there's some Pop-Tarts.
Have you ever had a maple bacon donut?
A maple?
Yeah, those are fantastic. Where they put the little bacon bits on top of the donut. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, maple bacon donut and coffee.
Coffee grounds.
All right, I got to get back into this.
So I think we need to move into actual professional mode for a minute. I think we need to partner with this distillery on the next blend, the breakfast blend.
Hanging AZ says coffee Pringles coming soon. All right,
you have no idea.
That's how you know we're getting regular viewers.
That's right.
Back here because they're tapping into my Pringles sensitivity.
Coffee Pringles, ew. Look, all I'm saying is if you guys make it to Arizona, even on a Sunday or whatever day it is, especially after July 17th, say less. I'll be there. I will give you the white glove treatment. Could try as many casts as possible. I'll make a mess.
That would be amazing because my
What the hell? Are you drunk?
Were you trying to go for the that's
no? I decided to change buttons.
One of my things, I've never been to a distillery. Yes, Ben, Voodoo Donuts invented them.
You've never been to a distillery?
Donut, no. No,
because I never have either. I've been to wineries. I used to live in Napa, and so I've been to wineries.
Yeah,
and I assume they're similar-ish
and DIY'd. Yeah, we have like no super professional equipment. Like our pot still is welded together by hand, and so is our stripping.
Well, even the big ones are done by hand. But
yeah, well,
I mean, so
it's not made by some like super fancy equipment place like Vendome or whatever.
There's like one coppersmith in the world that does all of like the big Kentucky distilleries though.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have that fancy.
So what I was getting at with the distillery thing, even if you just go on a regular distillery tour, if you're not there to do an on-site barrel pick, you're not going to get to taste whiskey straight out of the cask, like from the whiskey thief into your glass. And that's something I've always wanted to do.
You just want to lay on the floor and have someone pour it straight in.
Yeah, just right into my, just dump it into my face. Hold on.
That's what she said.
But just to be able to sit there like in a any sort of a distillery environment, or whether it's a rick house or whatever, and just get the whiskey thief and then just go straight from the cask to the glass.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
You know what I'm talking about.
And one of my favorite things.
Good question. Do you guys do? So I'm assuming, since we've talked about like the heat and stuff with your aging process, it's not a climate control situation.
Well, not the rick house.
We have a swamp cooler, but we kind of give it, the swamp cooler is more so for us working in it, because we have a tasting room that's climate controlled, and then we have a distillery, a functional kind of warehouse in the back end of it that is, we have a swamp cooler, so we pretty much don't distill during the summer.
Nice.
Or we don't do the mashing process during the summer. So over the summer,
as far as aging the barrels,
yeah, they sit there. We try to keep it around 80, 90. So like outside it'll be like 100, but inside it's like you can survive living in there and working in there, but it's not going to be comfortable.
And your barrels are in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not in the 120 degree heat all the time, but they're in like a solid 90 degree all the time.
Okay, we also shut off the swamp cooler when we're not there too, though. So we don't usually typically work Sundays. So Sunday it'll heat up past that. Arizona's not going to keep that climate controlled.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sugar Kitty made reference to that a lot of distilleries, when they replace a still, like they'll if there's a dent in the still, they'll actually get the new still and put a dent in the same spot.
We talked about that. Yeah, I learned that from watching.
I should really pay attention to this show.
I know. Yeah, you have no idea what. He said, hey, should we do this whiskey? It's like, great, we already reviewed that one.
So,
2 weeks ago.
That is such a great bottle, but it is so sweet that it's almost too sweet. I didn't know that those words went together in a sentence.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Mike's talking about the maple.
Oh man, that is
Knob Creek.
Yeah, there's almost too much sweetness in that.
That's one of the few whiskeys I've yet to try. I wanted to get that for making old fashions because I have a Crown Peach and a Crown Apple out there that I mix with old fashioned. So replace the simple with the whiskey. And I use those as my simple syrup, and they add a little bit of flavor. So it turns it into like a peach old fashioned or an apple old fashioned. And that's one of the few bottles I want.
Okay, so wait, repeat that. I was reading a comment.
Oh, no worries.
I can't do two things in my head at once.
Basically, in my old fashions, I replace the simple syrup with a flavored whiskey occasionally.
The non-alcohol with the alcohol.
That's the way to do it.
More alcohol.
Yeah, get rid of the non-alcoholic simple syrup and get some more booze in there.
But let's be honest, that booze is just as sweet as a fucking syrup. Oh, sorry. I hope
absolutely.
This.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I want to try that actually.
That's interesting.
It works. It's not entirely a 1-for-1, but it works.
I really like your recipe there. Crown Peach and iced tea.
I bet you that's fantastic. That sounds like really a good summer drink.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Well, it's 7:01, so I know you got a live stream in 15 minutes or 14 minutes now.
We're fine. I'm sitting down here. I am not moving for the next hour and a half, or else I'm not doing my live stream.
Well, hopefully all of our viewers don't move either. They just move over to your stream.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, we can kill this at 7.
I mean, you guys can come on. Do you have both of these bottles?
So the Doc Swinson.
We killed the Doc Swinson,
yeah, that one's
and they don't sell Smoke Wagon around here. So I've tasted the uncut, unfiltered, or whatever, but
Penelope?
That's just because a friend of mine.
Yes,
we just started getting Penelope.
Same. I mean, let's be honest. All these MGP blenders are like the same thing, different day. Like they're so comparative. There's nothing super original about these really good blenders. Because I would put Penelope, Smoke Wagon, Doc Swinson's kind of in that bar of these guys blend a really good MGP. So when I'm looking for MGP, those are
regular
the
Doc Swinson's. We've only had the blenders cut, but for the $50 that bottle cost, fantastic,
really
super good.
That's another brand I've been meaning to get more of. Speaking of MGP, and I actually got this sort of on your recommendation, Stephen. And then some of the recommendations in the chats on these bourbon hunting videos. I did pick up a Bellmead Reserve.
Ooh, I like that one.
I haven't had that. What do you mean?
I've never had one. I don't think.
Were you asking why I picked it up?
Yeah.
Because we've never had it. Why?
Oh, okay.
It's the first time I've ever said I bought a new brand of whiskey, and you're like, why?
Well, because it's another rabbit hole that now we have to go down.
We can't because it's discontinued. Oh. Well, as I learned in the comments yesterday.
Yeah, every time I keep on mentioning that, people keep on like posting, be like, "Hey, this isn't discontinued. You're wrong." And I'm like, "Well, show me where it is." Like, it's not in my area anymore.
So, yeah, I got a little snarky with one of our viewers in the comments. Yeah, a little bit.
Sometimes I want to throw hands.
Commented something snarky to me because I said in my bourbon hunting video, I finally pulled the trigger and got one of these because everyone keeps saying it's really good.
Yeah. And
it's discontinued. So once it's gone, I'm going to regret it because then I just won't have an opportunity. And the person commented back and I and say, hey, I didn't mean for my comment to sound like a dick. And I said, hey, no, it's all in fun. You know? So no harm, no foul.
Usually I just kind of like throw hands and words, and I just kind of
say that Sugar Kitty's on his way to your house, and he'll explain it.
Well, no, so she had said Bellmead is not, capital letters, discontinued. It's still going to be available at the distillery gift shop. You should get your information right if you're talking to a large audience. And then a bunch of people started commenting. So I went back in and said, okay, let me clear the air here. I said something like, it's not discontinued. It's only been discontinued from every single retailer on planet Earth, except for that one small tasting room in Tennessee that 99.9999% of our viewers will never go to.
And I'm not sure this qualifies as a large audience, but thanks for the
We're almost 2,000 here.
Yeah.
I also think that
by the way,
oh no, carry on.
I was going to say, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button because we can really use it.
What
trying
are you
to get
doing?
to 2,000 and that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I find it crazy when people leave comments and they anticipate that like we're trying to either spin some narrative, be like, no, dude, I'm just sharing my opinions on live, or we're like super professional and extremely knowledgeable. Like, I'm just a dude who bought a freaking camera and some people decided to start watching me. Those are my credentials.
Totally agree.
Like,
totally agree.
And
I
those
bought a
people
lot
you
of
can
whiskey
tell.
and a camera and some decent lights now.
I bought a lot of
bought
whiskey and I
new
had to justify it.
Yeah.
Make a few bad decisions in your life, and now here you are.
And so I think that the people who think that we're
That's
like
my story.
professionals and super knowledgeable, you can tell that they're the ones that don't watch us on a regular basis, because there's no way they would think that.
Well, they would
I'm
associate
winging all
us
this.
as being like in the industry. Oh, and you are in the industry now. You're
I
an
mean,
insider.
I will be.
You're the man.
Yeah. In less than a month, my entire income will be based off of the Army pays for my health care, and whiskey pays the rest of the bills, at least.
Well, congratulations
Please
on
buy
that.
some
That's great.
bourbon.
Thank you for your service as well.
Oh, thank
Greg's
you.
also a veteran.
Well, thank you for your service.
So here's what I'm thinking what we need to do. On one of Bobby's videos, it was a live stream. One of his videos, he mentioned, when is he doing that? Is he actually have plans, or is he just saying that he's going to do it at some point?
I texted him the other day. So we really need to set up like a...
Yes, we're professionals. Of course we're
this
professionals.
side of the country. So West Coast. Sorry, I had to do the whole never eat soggy waffles shit because I'm a little drunk. So we need to do like a West Coast get together and whatnot.
Whiskey meetup?
I want to do something. I'm thinking we could do it at the distillery as long as it's like a non-production day. And all like maybe a Sunday, because we're not open. I'll have a key. I'll clear it with the boss and all, and be like, hey, I'm not going to take too much whiskey out of casks, all that jazz.
Well, honestly,
like, hey, I'll sell some bottles, whatever. Maybe
totally.
We'll do a single barrel pick.
Need to build some fan base.
Yeah. But how much fun would that be to do like a whiskey chat? Because like we've always talked about how like between like us, you, Sean, Bobby, Bourbon School, Baker Drinks, Mediocre Whiskey Review, 4 Leaf Whiskey. There are all these channels we kind of talk to and have in our little kind of ecosystem of like, that we kind of chat with on a regular basis.
The cool kids.
How fun would it be to have like a bunch of us all have some sort of a meetup? Because at some point it would be nice to meet everybody in person and do that at the distillery, and everybody's filming content and putting it out there, And I mean, that'd be great advertisement for your distillery too.
Yeah, I want to do it sometime around, which this is where things start getting complicated because I need to start planning now if we do this, but sometime either during the fall, winter, or springtime, because it is Arizona, like June, July, August, that's not happening. Like with the swamp cooler on full tilt, that's still like 85 degrees in there, and that's not an enjoyable...
I'm a ginger who's lived in Minnesota his whole life. If I come down there in the summer, it will literally kill me. It'll kill me.
I'd die.
Yeah, let's go drink some bourbon. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then on top of it, you're boozing hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But seriously, how much fun would that be to do something like that in the fall? Or
that would be awesome.
No, 100%. That's something we need to do. We need to do less talking about it and more doing it. But we need to get on it, and by we I mean me, because if it's going to be at the distillery, I need to start greasing palms and spinning wheels up.
Because honestly, we've liked we've liked every single one of these. So I would love to come down there and sample more. Like if I didn't like these, I mean, I'd still love to come down and hang out.
Totally.
But the idea of getting to taste any of these straight from the cask is something I'm super... Like if I went to Texas and went to a distillery and got to taste stuff straight out of the cask, it'd be fun for the experience. It was like,
that's right.
Shitty whiskey. So, but now we can't hear you. You must have... There you go.
No, sorry. The wife just showed up, so I was meeting you to be like, "Hey, I'm still live. Okay. I'm live streaming." But no, that sounds absolutely fantastic to me. Like that's something I really want to do, and we could even do for those who maybe don't like our stuff, because some of our stuff is polarizing in a way. And sometimes when you're pulling from casks, not all the casks are ready. But like we could even do a bottle share too, because it's not like it's going to be a open day to the distillery. Like it's just going to be an event where people show up, like bring whatever you want people to try. Uber home, please.
And that's
I live
the thing.
5 minutes away. I'll Uber.
Some of these, I would say they may not be for everybody.
Well, I don't think so.
But in the sense that, like, to keep bringing it up, like Texas whiskey is not for everybody. People who love it really love it. People who hate it really hate it. I don't feel like this is that polarizing.
I think number 2 is that if I were to name one of them, this one is. Yeah, 2. 3 was better. I think 2 could be the one that people object to. The rest of them are freaking amazing.
See, I think,
and I personally like 2B,
but you can see how somebody would think it's a little too chocolate forward. So and that's where that whole whiskey nerd thing comes in, where it's like it's exciting to share bottles and pours like this with people who are super into it and really appreciate it. But I think it's polarizing, but maybe it's just because this is in my wheelhouse and I do like it, that maybe I'm just kind of not seeing it as being, but they are definitely unique.
Yes.
And so if you're going to buy a bottle like this, expecting it to taste like Wild Turkey or Buffalo Trace, that's not what you're going to get here.
But not a daily drinker.
Right.
No, right. But what it is a really, really unique. You want to have something really unique and good, like a special pour on just a random night. These are all perfect for that.
And I just have to jump in here real quick. Hang in, you misspelled beaver.
What? I like Stephen, but we'll never give on budget beaver.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, I've completely bought in. I love the brand. I had nothing to do with starting it, but I absolutely love it. And even for me, some of these pours that we went over today, they're not daily drinker pours. These are, every once in a while. And it's not because they're super special to me. Like I occasionally work in a warehouse that has maybe like 100 casks of this kind of stuff sitting around everywhere around me. So it's not like it's limited to me per se, but I'm not drinking it because, maybe I'm not feeling a desserty, chocolatey coffee type of bourbon that night. Or maybe the rye, it's more along that traditional route for me. And then
I would agree,
corn whiskey is pretty solid. But that bourbon to me, it's like that's every once in a while when I'm looking for a desserty type pour. And we have another, we have a smoked whiskey I don't really like, if we're being honest.
Oh, wow.
That's the reason why we have, hundreds of bottles of bourbon on our shelves, is because we like to have different things, different nights. I mean, even if something you love, you don't want to drink it the same thing every night. So Hangin' AZ said, did they get to try the Lost Dutchman Rye? Yes, we did.
Yep. Yes, that was last.
Number
that was
5.
really good.
And actually got a bacon kind of savory note in the middle of that.
Was that the one, or was it the cherry one?
No, I think it was the bottom, the last one.
Yeah, which I kind of like that. Very good. I like that note.
Yeah.
That's
for
probably
sure.
my favorite note of the night, because I've had that bottle for a hot minute and I've never pulled that out. That's a good note. I like that note.
You were going to do that's what she said.
Yeah, Hangin's got a great quote, but I'll leave it alone.
What was
I have to get a little board for that.
To get what? Oh, like a soundboard?
Yeah, I got to get one of those little boards where I can just play random tunes.
It's kind of fun. I mean, it's a stream deck, so anytime Greg says something weird, I can.
What the heck, you dumb biatch? Why are you saying these things?
It's good.
I always throw some random stuff in there, and so.
Surprise, motherfucker!
So yeah, it's a lot of fun to have it, but so I don't know what kind of a audio board you have, but for a stream deck, you have to use like a Voice Meter Banana, like a digital mixer, and so the process of getting this all dialed in was terrible and awful and horrible.
Yeah,
and it just took years off of my life. But
yeah, that would.
Now I've got it dialed in. So if you ever get one, just hit me up. We'll go on a private live stream. I'll walk you through the whole thing.
Okay, awesome.
Now that I've done all that. All right, we're at 7:14.
Yeah,
so
I do have to head out. But thanks for having me.
Everybody. On. Yeah. Well, thank you for sending the samples for sure. I mean, we've got still some of them left, so we'll enjoy these. And I'll probably maybe share, if you don't mind, a little bit of this with some of our friends that are into whiskey and get their opinion too. But
Spread
5 for 5.
Side chat me. Things can be hand delivered.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Make a trip down to Arizona. You make a trip up to Minnesota.
You guys can come to Arizona too. That, all those. Yeah. Say less.
Yep, for sure. All right, so everybody head over to Steven's. We'll be in the chat, but I got to go get some dinner in me, so I'll be watching from the dinner table.
I'll be late. I got to pay. Cheers, y'all.
Hey, thanks, Steven. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. You guys take care.
And thank you, everyone who was in the chat. Thank you very much. Let's just, Steven, if you got to head out, go ahead. Dr. Robert, Sugar Kitty, Brian Vaughn. Cheers. This was fun as usual. Don't be afraid to tear down anything.
OG.
I've sent you. I'm thick-skinned. It won't stop me from sending more occasionally unless you.
That sounds awesome.
No, hey, we're always
totally.
The reason we do this is because we have an appreciation for whiskey, so we want to try all of them.
Well,
and we're not always going to like all of them, but they all have. They all at least have a value. Like there's always something you can learn from.
Well, I would agree
even
with
if
that.
You don't like it.
Even the ones that we dislike, like say your standard Garrison Brothers, that I really think is. Well, I'll be nice. Yeah, it teaches you what you don't like, which is still a lesson.
Yep.
That's valuable.
Well, and then it kind of gives you like a jumping off point for, okay, this kind of tastes like this, so I could recommend to a friend, if you like this, well, you might like this as well, or every single thing we get to try is always a good thing. So, all right, we're going to end this here. So everybody have a great night. Thank you for watching. Please hop over onto Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans and check out Steven's live stream.
Until next time. See you next time.